I also have to guard myself because sometimes as an independent thinker, you by default become a contrarian. And if you're doing so, if you're thinking independently because that's something that you really groove with, that's something in your heart that you believe is important to really think about something in a different manner, that's cool. But I think sometimes we as independent thinkers, and I'm talking to myself here, fall into the category of by default being a contrarian, meaning we are always looking for something else or something different, or the conspiracy, or the two lines that we feel like everybody missed, because we at times as independent thinkers feel like we need to live up to that title of being an independent thinker. What's happening, y'all? This is Mike D with Black Fathers Now, where we're bringing the village to the brothers. Every couple of weeks, you can look forward to a quick inspirational message or a thought-provoking guest with knowledge and wisdom, all geared towards helping you be the best father that you can be. We're bringing the village to you. Now it's your turn to do something with what you learned. All right, y'all. Let's go. Hey, what's going on, fellas? This is Mike D, Mr. Double Down on You, with another episode of Black Fathers Now. Hope y'all are having a great holiday season, whether you're celebrating Christmas, Kwanzaa, Hanukkah, whatever you're celebrating, if you're spending time with your family, hope you all are making the most of it, because that's what it's all about, really spending time with your family and loved ones, those that we can spend time with due to the circumstances and situations that we're currently in right now. But we're just making the most of what you have. So I pray everything's going well for each and every one of y'all. But one of the things I wanted to talk about today is a concept. And it's the concept of independent thinking. It's the concept of independent thinking. So being an independent thinker does not mean that you have to be a contrarian in every situation, because sometimes the consensus is good. Hear me again. Being an independent thinker does not mean that you need to be a contrarian in every situation, because at sometimes the consensus is good. So what do I mean by that? I pride myself in being an independent thinker, right? I pride myself in being an independent thinker, but I also am very well aware of influences, sometimes covert, sometimes very overt, meaning there's some influences that are happening, like you're being influenced by this, right? But then there are so many influences in our lives that are kind of like subliminal messages, right? They come under covert cover, or they're embedded in something, or they happen in a way that you didn't intend. Therefore, you don't even realize they're happening. And so you think that you're thinking about something, but the reality is that you're not really thinking about it. Like that's the reality. You're not really thinking about it. You've been influenced, right? So I'm very aware of the fact that, I pride myself in being independent, meaning I look to think independently and not be overly influenced by everything that comes. I don't want to just go with the flow, and if everybody says go left, I don't want to be in the crowd going left, or if everybody says go right, I don't want to just be in the crowd going right just because I want to think about it. But I am aware of the fact that my thoughts are not always purely independent, because I am connected to society. I am connected to technology. There are cookies that follow me when I go from one site to the next, or there are, targeted ads that pop up when I'm on some social media feed. There are commercials that come on the TV, whether I'm watching them or not. Subconsciously, they're getting played over and over, and they might have some level of influence in regards to my thinking. But I still pride myself in attempting to be independent in my thinking. So I also have to guard myself, because sometimes as an independent thinker, you by default become a contrarian. And if you're doing so, if you're thinking independently because that's something that you really groove with, that's something in your heart that you believe is important to really think about something in a different manner, that's cool. But I think sometimes we as independent thinkers, and I'm talking to myself here, fall into the category of by default being a contrarian, meaning we are always looking for something else or something different, or the conspiracy, or the two lines that we feel like everybody missed, because we at times as independent thinkers feel like we need to live up to that title of being an independent thinker. See, it's a difference between being an independent thinker and trying to live up to the title or live up to the moniker of being an independent thinker. And I think some of us, and again, sometimes I'm talking to myself, we at times want to live up to being that so much that we by default just become a contrarian to everything. Like nothing, we don't believe in anything. We don't believe anything anyone says. We don't believe in any science, or we don't believe in any perspective, or we don't believe anything that comes from various outlets, because we just have to prove to everyone, and we have to live up to this title of being an independent thinker. But by default, at times, that pushes us into this category of contrarian, and we're this person who literally just, we don't agree with nothing, right? And I think that can be dangerous as well, because as an independent thinker, that means that you're open enough to be right, but you're also open enough to be wrong. You're open enough to be right, but you're also open enough to be wrong. And by being open enough to be right or wrong, what you come to realize is that at times the consensus is right. I had to pause there. At times the consensus is right. And so again, I encourage everyone to think independently. Don't just automatically by default fall in line and fall in lockstep with what everybody's saying and march to the beat of somebody else's drum. Because yes, they could be right, but on the flip side, they could be wrong. If you have the wherewithal to think and question everything so that you can at least look at multiple sides of each challenge or each argument, that opens you up to at least make the right or the most probable, or the best, decision based off of the circumstances and the information that you're given. You should always keep yourself there, but don't allow yourself to just live up to the title of being an independent, because doing that makes you at times a contrarian just by default. But on the flip side of that, let's not put ourselves in a position in which we never agree with, the consensus, because sometimes when we put all the information out there, we lay all the chips out there, sometimes the consensus is right. So I said that all of this to say, being independent is great. Being independent is good. We should all strive for that. But don't live up to the title of being independent. Just be independent. It's okay. Don't live up to the title of it. Just be it. All right? Well, I hope this helps you all, especially with all the stuff that's going on now in regards to suggestions on vaccinations and suggestions on what you should do here, and should your kids go back to school? Should they be in school? Should they be virtual? Should this happen? Should that happen? Should you wear this? Should you not wear this? Should you stay away? Should you, throw the stuff to the wayside and say, forget it? We have to be independent thinkers in regards to all of this, but don't allow your independent thinking to be so polarized that you just become a contrarian and you're not taking all the information in, because again, being independent is one that can take a step back and look at all sides and make the right decision based off of the information presented. All right. Well, hey, I hope this helps y'all, and I hope someone out there who is an independent thinker or who thinks they're an independent thinker takes heed to this information and at least checks themselves, looks in the mirror before making a decision or before completely selling out in a particular direction, so that, you can literally make the best choice and decision, for the circumstances that you're faced with. All right. Well, hey, fellas, I hope all is well. And look, man, this is the end of the year. This is the end of 2020. Lil Baby said we've had a hell of a year, like for sure. We done had a hell of a year, and but we're still here. We've had a hell of a year, but we're still here. Therefore, we got a fighting chance. All right. So make the most of the moments. You still got a few days. If you're listening to this before the end of 2020, you still got a few days left in the year. Make the most of those days. Make the most of those moments. Don't let a moment pass without you making the most of it. And I guess until next time, I'll be speaking to y'all again in 2021, which is, just next week. But until next time, y'all be blessed, well, and wise. And I'll holler at you. Peace. Yo, fellas, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. And always visit blackfathersnow.com, as well as follow Black Fathers Now on virtually every social media platform you can think of. Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, everywhere. Just follow us and engage with us, man. Look forward to hearing from you. And I guess until next time, I'll holler at you. Peace.